Yes, people. Hope everyone is doing well. Bless up to everyone. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday. We are back live on the channel. We've got some interesting stuff we're going to talk about, man. Some very interesting topics we are going to speak about when it comes to Liverpool Football Club tonight. We're going to speak about the summer rebuild. It's a Friday night. I thought, you know what, I'm going to hop on. We're going to do a show. We're going to chat about Liverpool Football Club. We're going to chat about Michael Olise. There's been a lot of talk about him in recent weeks. So yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. Bless up to everybody in the building. Make sure you're smashing up the like button and subscribing. I am bringing you guys content once again. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that as well. Actually, we are gonna talk about that because someone actually has just put a comment in, which is a good question. Big up to PL Champs in the building, man, and bless up to everybody because I know a lot. My previous streams, a lot of people watch back on the replays. So if you're watching back on the replay, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all those good things. Do you get me? So bless up to everybody, man. Big up to PL Champs. Big up Jacob Lads. You actually think we're gonna get Olise? We're gonna talk about it, bro. 100 mil plus. So Paul is good. Mate, we're on the road to recovery, mate. We're on the road to recovery. Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Obviously, I was gonna do this stream earlier, but I had to go to the hospital. So yeah. Big up to Clive in the building. Vlogging channel soon. I've got a video about that next week. I'm gonna drop. So yeah, the vlogging channel is gonna come soon. People ask, oh, what's gonna be on the vlogging channel? The vlogging channel is gonna be an absolute madness. So we're gonna do I'm gonna buy like a world map thing. So do you know how you can get what's it called? It's like a map of like the world in it. Then I'm gonna buy a separate one of one of the UK. And basically I'm gonna buy some dartboards and I'm gonna throw a dartboard wherever it lands. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna vlog it. So for example, if man throws a dartboard and it lands in like, I don't know, Scotland, man's gonna go and vlog it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the vlogging channel is gonna be coming, man. So yeah, we've got some some ideas in it. We've got some ideas. The vlogging channel will probably be like a video once a week because I don't want to like oversaturate. I don't want to like do videos and live streams every single day on it. Like I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now on YouTube. Clubbing vlogs, bro. Everyone wants to see me do a clubbing vlog. Literally on the last, what was it, 2 weeks ago when when I did the stream, everyone was like, "Oh my god, reacts to a clubbing vlog." Listen, if people want to see me go on a night out and fucking vlog it, then I will do it. That could be a fun little series. I can't lie, it'd be quite funny, wouldn't it? Me getting drunk on camera. Obviously, I have to be thingy about it because depending on who I go on a night out with, they're not gonna want to be on camera, especially on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to think about how exactly I'm gonna like do it and present it. But obviously, we're gonna go to like some events like boxing and stuff and record that zesty vlogs. Please tell me how going on a night out with people is zesty, mate. I'm not really sure what's zesty about that. Look, if you think that's zesty, then I don't know what you find zesty, my G. But yeah, chat, we're going to talk about Liverpool. That was just a little thing I wanted to mention. So we're going to be live the next hour. We're going to talk about Michael Olise now. There's been a lot of talk about Olise with Liverpool Football Club. You know, people thinking, is he a top target? Can we actually get him? But so there's been a couple of tweets about him, and this is one of the news that's coming out. Liverpool versus Bayern Munich transfer battle. Bayern Munich face a critical contract decision on Michael Olise to nullify his release clause. They must raise his wages to match their top earners. Now we're going to have a look at what their earners are in a second. The release clause activates and he can leave. Should Olise depart, Bayern's primary replacement target is Jan Demande, RB Leipzig. Their backup is Demande, unavailable, Cody Gakpo at Liverpool Football Club. Seeing where the dots are aligning in here. On Liverpool's side, top target to replace Mohamed Salah remains Michael Olise, but only if Champions League football is secured next season. Outside of Olise, the top wide attacking target is again Jan Demande. Liverpool want to sell Cody Gakpo this summer to generate funds to space for the reset. It's a merry-go-round. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, we know Liverpool, I think anyone would be a madness, mate, if you genuinely would not take Michael Olise at your respective club. I think you would be honestly a bit of a madman to not want Olise at your club. I genuinely think you would want to be a madness. There's been a lot of talk about, a contract situation. Is one from Graham Bailey. Liverpool's recruitment team are unanimous to believe that Michael Olise represents the closest thing to ideal here to Mo Salah, but Bayern Munich are preparing to shut down any approach this summer. So look, Bayern Munich are going to do everything in their very much power to not allow Olise to leave the club, which again is no surprise. He's for me top 2, top 3 right-sided players in world football. He's obviously up there with Lamine Yamal and stuff. Olise is a top baller, man, absolute top baller. I'm not sure where they're thinking in terms of he's like for like in Mo Salah though, because one, Olise doesn't have the blistering pace of Mo Salah. I don't think he has the finishing ability of Mo Salah. I think as an all-round footballing ability, I can kind of hear it because I think his passing range is very good. I think his crossing ability is good. I think his goal-scoring output is okay for what he is as a footballer. I think Olise is a top player, man. I rate him very highly. My only thing is with him, I think the reason why people thinking, oh, Liverpool aren't going to pay them money, I think because if we do sell Mohamed Salah this summer, I think that is naturally going to generate funds for Olise. I think you can get 50 million for Mo Salah. If we look at players, that could potentially leave out the door, I think genuinely you can get Olise for 110. Let's have a look at Bayern Munich's wage contracts, because if we're looking at this in hindsight, they're talking about contract situations. Yeah, let's have a look. Share this tab. So Olise is on 259,000 euros a week. Cool. Now, he wants to be top earners at the club. In my opinion, he should be earning more than Davies. I mean, there's literally 10,000 euros difference between him and Luis Diaz. In my opinion, Musiala and Kane, in my opinion, are the only players that should be earning respectfully more than him. I mean, for God's sakes, Kim Min-jae's earning just shy of him. Leon Goretzka. I could understand where Olise would want to earn top dough, because for me, he is top 2, top 3 right-sided players in world football. And for what he's doing at Bayern Munich this season, and not only last season, he deserves to be getting the respected wage. The contract situation with him, I'm not too concerned about. I mean, look, he's got, 3 years left on his contract, so he's got very much future planning proof of him in terms of the contract situation. However, when we look at it from another perspective, the reason as to why I do think we can pursue an Olise is because of the rebuild of Liverpool Football Club. Why wouldn't you want to jump at the chance of that? And I'm not trying to disrespect Bayern Munich. And Zia, I know you're going to be rewatching this back because you're going to want to try and clip me up, and etc. etc. And I know another certain man's probably going to be watching this. You absolute fat fuck. Let's see if you clip me up, mate. Because listen, if you want to talk to me like that again, mate, I'll absolutely, yeah, you ain't gonna want to know what time it is, mate. So if you want to clip me up again, happily talk on my name again, mate, and you'll soon find out real quick. How about fucking go and lose some weight? Do you know what I mean? Good one. So look, I think we can get Olise for 120, in my opinion. Big up React Olise happening. What makes you say that Olise can't happen though, Lewis? Because in my humble opinion, think about it, right? We've shown that last summer. If we want players, we'll go and get them. We're going to be selling players this summer. Harvey Elliott, I think we get about 30, 40 million quid. I think Mo Salah, you can get 60 million quid there. Plus, I think the club knows that we need a proper replacement in Mohamed Salah on that right side. I wouldn't be confident with Yandamande becoming in as the right-sided player to replace Mo Salah. If I'm being truly honest with you, would I take him at the club? Yes. Would I take him as a first choice to replace Salah? No. We need Olise and Barcola. Mate, I need two things as well in my life, but unfortunately, at this current time of being live streaming, those two things aren't happening. So, I mean, look, Barcola. I mean, if what's true about Cody Gakpo, potentially that we could sell him, as well. I've been told that Elise is the dream, but there's not happening. The one to keep an eye on is Barcola. I would take Barcola. I don't know if I want Barcola as my right-sided player though. I'd rather take Bradley Barcola as a left-sided attacker. If I'm being truly honest. I think what does help is within our favour that Elise did want the Premier League originally. He originally wanted to obviously go to Chelsea back in, what was it, 2023, 2024. I think, I think the actual Liverpool project is more exciting than Bayern's. Now, Bayern Munich are in a better position right now than Liverpool. But if you're looking at Liverpool potentially where they could be in the next couple of years, I think is very good. Let's not rewrite history and pretend Liverpool have not signed quality players. And I had an interesting, quote, debate on Zia's channel last night about Liverpool's summer signings, everyone criticising them, saying they've been terrible and bad, which I think's completely irrelevant compared to some of the players that some of their clubs have signed. But they don't want to hear that sort of chat. And if we're looking at it from position, if we do sell Cody Gakpo, I think Barcola could potentially happen. You look at the players that PSG have, it's looking like Barcola's slowly falling out with PSG. I think you get Barcola for about 80 million, 85 million. I think you sell Cody Gakpo, if you are going to sell Cody Gakpo, to, let's say, Bayern Munich, who are interested. That could easily, be very interesting as well. Barcola for left wing. I'm constantly hearing Barcola and Demande. They are the two names that keep getting mentioned. I would take them both. However, who are we selling and who are we buying on for the right side? Because they're both two left-sided players, aren't they? So, in my opinion, I would want a bit of clarity on that, Elliott has 1 year left on his contract in the summer. He'll get his 15 million max. Yeah, Harvey's price has definitely deteriorated because of the factors of, because what's happened there is he's barely played this season, has he? He's only played 10 matches. So naturally, your price is going to deteriorate with having 1 year left on his contract as well. However, there's still time for him for that Villa clause to be activated. I think he has to play 10 games in the Premier League. Let's have a look. How many games has he actually played? He's played 4 in the league. So he needs to make another 6. He's played total games for Aston Villa, 7 games. 2 in the Europa League, 1 in the EFL Cup, 4 in the league. It's not even like he's been injured, has it? like I just want to know what's going off in training because they gave him the number 9 shirt. You know, you don't put say 10 games thinking, "Hey, we're going to be buying him." Something must have gone wrong in training or something because I don't know how this has ultimately happened. If I'm being honest with you, smash up the like button by the way. Let's try and aim for 20 likes on the channel if we can. But I look at it from a perspective, chat. You know, I think if we can get, you know, Olise, man, it would be an ultimate dream, wouldn't it? It would be an ultimate dream if we could get Michael Olise at Liverpool Football Club, man. It would genuinely, man, it would be such a dream, wouldn't it? If we could get him. Yeah, man, it would. What I would do for Olise at Liverpool. I just think if we, man, like, why can't we try, man? We've got to try. Morgan Rogers. That's a name I've heard. I mean, look, again, I like Morgan Rogers. I don't think personally he's a bad player. I think potentially, in my opinion, there's other names I would rather prefer and have at the club. If I'm being honest, you know, there is other names I would rather take, but that's nothing on. You know, Morgan Rogers. I just think personally, I want a fast attacking, a dribbler, a tenacious, a danger man on the left-hand side. I don't think Morgan Rogers quite is that. I think he's far more of a technicalized player for the left-sided. That doesn't mean if we sign Morgan Rogers, I'm going to start complaining. No, I'm going to be happy we signed him. However, if you're asking me in truly hindsight position, I'm taking, you know, most players over Morgan Rogers, if I'm being honest. I can't lie. I am taking, you know, other players over Morgan Rogers, but that's not on Morgan Rogers as a player. It's just my, you know, style of preference. So in terms of players I want to, you know, what I want to see. So, but hey, if we sign him, we sign him. I'm not gonna, you know, sit here and complain. Like Jude. I heard Morgan Rogers before we brought Verts, and it mentioned to me. Yeah, big up to Antico, lad. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Big up to Antico. Big up to everybody in the building. But no, chat. I mean, look, with Olise, I think Liverpool will definitely try. I think they've been proven in the past. You saw that in the summer, the intent there with Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, that, you know, there was ultimately their top targets. And I personally believe Michael Olise deal is actually more of an easy deal to do as opposed to Alexander Isak. I think Alexander Isak was far more important than Olise is to Bayern Munich, especially with the project that Newcastle are on. I think what would help this deal if we sold Cody Gakpo, again, that frees up funds. I think Liverpool are going to make about 150 in funds this summer. If we're going to have a look at Liverpool's wage bill, we did speak about this a bit the other day. You know, we did speak a bit about this. If we look at Liverpool's wage bill from perspectives, let's have a look. Right, Let's start from bottom to top. I'll tell you who I think will leave the club. Right, Owen Beck. These players are all on loan. I mean, how Isaac, sorry, Baby is still at Liverpool. He's genuinely trash. I actually don't mind Lucas Stevenson. I actually think he's a bit of an okay academy player, but I don't think he'll quite make it. Lewis Kumas, obviously, he's on loan to, what was it, Hull? Simicas is on loan, same for Owen Beck. Harvey Davis, he's going to be leaving. Again, he's just going to be gone. Reece Williams, again, I don't know how he didn't leave 4 years ago. Trainioni's obviously got years left on his contract. I'll be intrigued to see if he goes on loan next season. Same for Rio and Gamoa. Freddie Woodman. Did he only sign a 1-year contract with Liverpool? Again, he'll probably be leaving then. I think Bajcetic is going to be leaving. I think we need to make a proper hard decision in Bajcetic because look, Bajcetic hasn't really made it at Liverpool for about 3 years now. Yes, he has been unlucky with injuries. Yes, he has been unlucky in that sense. I mean, for God's sakes, how old is Bajcetic now? He's 21. I mean, look, he's still got far more age on his side. Again, I like Bajcetic. I really do like Bajcetic. However, I'm looking at it from the club's perspective. If they can get maybe 15, 20 million for him, I think they sell him. I do. Curtis Jones, I think Curtis Jones will be leaving because he'll have 1 year left in his contract. I think if Arne Slot stays at the club, I think it's dead certain that Curtis Jones will be sold in the respected summer window. Unfortunately, I don't want him to go. I think Endo, unless Liverpool get an offer, I think Endo will just see out his contract. Leonie's obviously, he's here for another, 5 more years. He's only just signed. Konate, we're going to speak about Konate in a bit. Will he be staying or not? Kirkes, again, he's got years left. Same with Conor Bradley. Gomez, I think, with the talk, of this summer being the centre-back rebuild, rebuilding the centre-back market for Liverpool, I think Joe Gomez could potentially leave if, we get an offer of, let's say, 10, 15 million pounds. I think Liverpool would actually take that, if I'm being honest with you. Otherwise, I think he will leave on a free. Mamadashvili, again, he's got 5 years left, for God's sakes. Frimpong, again, 4 years, he's got to be leaving. So Bosline, now this is where it gets interesting about the club. Smash the like button and subscribe, people. But I know a lot of you do watch it back on the replay, so let's try and hit these. Let's try and aim for 20 likes if we can. So Bosline, I think, will sign a new contract. I mean, look, he's got 2 years left. Allison, his contract's actually up this summer, but he's looking at the club are going to be activating the 1-year extension to his clause. I think Allison will leave on a free, but I do think Allison this summer could be a ones to watch. I do. Would Mamadashvili really come into the club and sit on the bench for 2 years? I mean, how old is Mamadashvili? Because Liverpool spent decent money on Mamadashvili. Let's like, if we're looking at this from a perspective, chat, Liverpool did spend decent money on Mamadashvili. He's 25. 25. We spent. We spent 25 million plus 4 million add-ons. I don't think Liverpool spend 30 million on a keeper if they don't see him as a potential first choice. He will be nearly 27 potentially by then he could potentially be starting for Liverpool. This is an interesting one. Federico Chiesa, I think Chiesa will leave. I do. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. Gravenberch, interesting one with 2 years left. There's an interesting talk about Ryan Gravenberch. Yes, has he been great this season? I don't think he's been fantastic, outstanding like he has last season. Again, I do think the midfield setup has played a massive part in his game. I do think, once we actually bring in a good, accountable coach, I think Gravenberch will exceed. I think the noticeable thing where we need to improve on Gravenberch is his passing. McAllister, I thought McAllister's actually looked good in the past couple of games. It looks like Liverpool really like McAllister. I think a lot of people are thinking that we're going to sell McAllister. I don't know, but McAllister could potentially be a name if we are going to be bringing in more midfielders. Robertson, he's going to be leaving on a free. There's no talk about contract extension. Ekatike, again, 5 years left. 4 weeks, we're not going to be leaving. Cody Gakpo, I do think Cody Gakpo could potentially leave. And same for myself. I think Van Dijk will stay at the club. I just can't see a world where we have a massive centre-back overhaul. We lose our first 2 choice centre-backs. We sell a Joe Gomez and expect to go and bring in 4 centre-backs. I'll be very surprised. So I think my top players will leave will be Mohamed Salah for about 50 million plus-ish. Cody Gakpo, I think, will leave. I think you can probably get, again, 50 million, 55, a bit more maybe for Gakpo, depending on how strong Bayern's interesting. So that's 100 plus million easily there. Robertson's on a free. If you sell McAllister, How much do you sell McAllister for, man? Because before this season, McAllister was £100 million plus player for me. So how much do you sell McAllister for? I still think you can get 70 million plus quid. I think for them 3 players alone, you can maybe stretch and push it to maybe 200 million there. I think you get 15 mil for Kaiser. I think Gomez, again, you probably get about 10 million quid. Bajcetic, I think you can get 15 to 20 million. I think for Curtis Jones with a year left, you can probably get 30 million quid plus. I think Liverpool can generate maybe again, chat another 200 plus million. I think genuinely we can generate potentially 200 plus million quid from player sales. So, and you look at the players that we want to bring in, Olise. Okay, so let's say we do get Olise. He's going to probably cost you what, 100 million ish, give or take. Adam Wharton, 170 altogether, by the way. I think obviously we've already spent 60 million on Jeremy Jacquet. I think we need 2 more centre backs. I think we're probably going to need to spend at least. You know, when you really do think about it, chat, we might actually be looking at another 500 million plus pounds summer. You know, when you're really deep, we might need to spend another 500 million plus quid. Because I think we need 2 centre backs at the fucking bare minimum. And I'm talking at the fucking bare minimum here. And that's not including Jeremy Jacquet, by the way. We need 2 more. So in my opinion, you're spending at least. I think you can. I think depending, right? Virgil van Dijk, and let's say we bring in Schlotterbeck. So then, Jeremy Jacquet becomes the understudy for a year. You probably bring in another centre back as well. Also, if Konate signs, what do you do then? Can you go into next season with Van Dijk, Konate, Jeremy Jacquet, and Schlotterbeck, and Leone as well? If we keep Joe Gomez, I will take that because you kept Konate, Virgil for a year. You got Jeremy Jacquet, Leone, and Joe Gomez. I think I would take that. Maybe if we're being greedy, we can get Schlotterbeck because he's only got 1 year left on his contract. And then as for midfielders, I think we need 2. I think we need Adam Wharton, an Anderson type player, a Stiller type player. I think we need 2 of those. We need to be physical, my chap. We need to be strong. We need to be tenacious in the midfield. Our midfield is weak. Dominic Szoboszlai, our midfield is actually genuinely weak. If you actually look at it on paper, we've got one of the weakest midfields. And I'm not talking about our midfielders in the sense of them being bad or them being technically bad. I'm talking about them being weak physically when you compare to Arsenal, Manchester City, Aston Villa. You look even at Newcastle. How many times this season have we lost games due to how poor or physical our midfield is? I think we need 2 midfielders. Go and get me Adam Wharton. Go and get me. See, if we let go of Curtis Jones, you could argue we might need another one in there. What do we do with Leone? Do we loan him out? Do we keep him at the club? They're interesting ones. I think in the attack we need 2 players minimum. If Mohamed Salah is leaving, we need 2 players minimum. 2 players minimum. We need a left-sided attacker. We already know this, and we need someone for the right side if we sell Mo Salah. So I think you're again, chat. I'm gonna be honest. Obviously, with player sales, like we said, 200 plus million from player sales. We're generally looking at another window where we might need to spend 300, 400 million again. And it's mad to say, I know it is, but we need 2 midfielders. We need 2 centre backs. We need 2 attackers. And this is why Champions League football is so relied upon. It is actually scary to think where the club could be if we don't get Champions League, because you can kiss goodbye. Right, forget Olise for a minute. He's a dream player. He's a dream player to get. Let's talk someone like an Adam Wharton. I think he's a realistic player that Liverpool can get. If we don't get Champions League, we ain't getting Adam Wharton because he'll go to United or City because they're probably they're gonna both get Champions League. So our players' standards are going to go down a level because of Europa League. And I know people are going to mention your McAllisters, you're going to mention your Gravenberches, you're going to mention your Endos that we signed the previous 2 summers. Endo doesn't really start for any much Premier League teams. McAllister, Liverpool did their groundwork very early on that, and plus he's coming from Brighton. And Gravenberch wasn't really a difficult deal to do because he wasn't getting minutes at Bayern Munich. And Szoboszlai, that was a release clause. So it is genuinely an interesting situation at the club. Let me catch up with some of the comments because I know I'm far behind. Also, footy, different topic, but I've heard positive news on Konate's contract. Yeah, we will talk about Mr. Ibu. My snooker team won 6 away footy. What phase are we in? Go on, lad. Olise would come back to the Premier League. Yep. Footy, nothing been mentioned to me about Gakpo leaving. I don't think he goes. I think it very much depends on Arne Slot. I think if Slot's the manager, I don't think we sell him. If he isn't the manager, I think there's very much a chance. I won't be surprised if Liverpool, because the 250 grand a week hasn't been verified, it's not physically confirmed, there's rumours of it. I think Liverpool maybe potentially gave him the contract, a bit like the Kwanzaa situation, where it just boosted the price tag up because he's got extra years left on his contract. We saw that with Kwanzaa. Everyone thought, oh my God, wait, Kwanzaa new contract. Sold him in the summer. Think Slot will be here next season. Sounds like going to be backed again. I genuinely think the club think they're unlucky. Big up to Jamie. I think he said it on, I can't remember what channel he was on. And he was explaining, I actually agreed. Subscribe and like and see Bastard going to La Liga and doing well. Rumours, Mama going on loan. Yeah, because he was going to go on loan to Bournemouth. There was a rumour about that. Mamad Trash needs to leave, bring back Kelleher. I actually don't mind Mamardashvili. I think on the ball he's a bit. He does give me a bit of a scare on the ball. I thought against Man United, on the ball he was gave me a few heart attacks. I don't think he's been terrible for the games he's played for Liverpool. I mean, he's played. How many games has he played for us? 10 games. Out of those 10 games, I think he was good for at least 50, 40, 50% of the games. Games that spring to mind, I thought maybe he could have saved the Caicedo shot. I think potentially he could have done better distribution-wise. I think he should have done better for Man United game, if I'm being honest. But there is stuff in Mamardashvili I do like. I don't know if Mamardashvili's got the aura of Alisson to command. He does give that shy vibes. Like, there's certain players that need that aura. I say aura to really improve as a player and as a goalkeeper. And I think we need to be a bit relaxed on Mamardashvili because the standards of Alisson and what we've had with him over the past couple of years, no matter who we bring in, was always going to be a bit of a downgrade because obviously was never going to get in like a Donnarumma. And obviously he has gone to, he has gone to Manchester City. I mean, 2 years ago, by the way, champ, Mamardashvili is one of the most valuable young goalkeepers. And, for me, was he my first choice? No. I said if we were selling Alisson, do you know what goalkeeper I would have taken? I would have taken Kobel at Borussia Dortmund, but they would have charged us big money for Kobel. I mean, how old is Kobel at Dortmund? Because I think he's one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the world. I'm surprised more clubs haven't really tried with him. I mean, he's 28, so it's not like he's old. You could bring him in for 5 years. I think you can get Kobel for 60 million. 150 million for Olise, I don't think so. What you're saying, we're going to have to pay 150 million for him. Big up to Cop 5, we're doing well, my bro. Gakpo isn't leaving. 250 go wait for Gakpo's on. What a joke. Bastard will leave for max 5 mil. Why would he? Teams pay 20 million for a man that is out of contract in the summer. Yeah, I still think we can get maybe 10, 50 million because there is a talent there. He's obviously, it's a weird one because he is still very young, 21, but there has to be a common point where we have to eventually cut the losses. So there's going to have to be very much a topic around him. Outgoings probably will be Sal, Maka, Endo, Robbo, Gomez, Bajcetic, Chiesa, and Elliot Jones. There is going to be a lot of wages off the books. There is going to be a lot of wages off the books, which I do think is good. So, I mean, again, if we sell, let's say, Mohamed Salah, that's 400 plus grand off the books. When you look at it from that perspective. So, I do think it is interesting, isn't it? It is interesting to see what's going to happen there. Nah, we've downgraded enough position, bring back the sexy bastard and Kelleher. Yeah, big up cop footy. You seen the Fury dad wants to fight Froch on Tyson's undercard, boxing becoming like wrestling. It's all PR, mate. I'd be very surprised if that fight actually got made. I mean, for God's sakes, Carl Froch versus John Fury. I mean, how would that even potentially get sanctioned? John Fury is probably walking around about 18 plus stone. Carl Froch is probably walking around about 180. Maybe a little bit more. 185, 190. I don't see that. For one, how can that be sanctioned? Again, I don't think it will because of the pro records. If that could get possibly, that's a fight that could get sanctioned in America, but it's not going to get sanctioned in America. So it would have to go down as an unofficial fight. It'd have to go down as an exhibition. Would I watch it? I probably would. I think the build-up would be absolutely hilarious to watch John Fury in a press conference. I mean, for God's sakes, we've seen him. But Carl Froch would absolutely light up John Fury. For God's sakes, I get it. They come from a fighting family, but for God's sakes, man, Carl Froch would absolutely light him up. Like, what are we doing here? I think the thing is with John Fury, right? I'm gonna say this now. I don't mind John Fury, but what annoys me about John Fury is there's a time and a place to be funny and be hilarious. Like the clip I saw the other day, yeah, it was a bit funny, but you literally looked up at Carl Froch when he was in the box, acting like you can't see him, and then when you go above him, you acting like you can. But look, you know what it's like when Tyson Fury's fine. The John Fury show will always, John Fury will always play a part in some sort of absolute nonsense. I mean, again, look, would I watch it? I probably would for the banter, but that fight wouldn't go past 2 rounds. Carl Froch, this is a former 3-time world champion. This is a former Hall of Famer boxer from Nottingham. John Fury has lost loads of professional fights. And he's 60 fucking years old. Carl Froch is what, mid-40s? Carl Froch would absolutely annihilate him, man. Some people actually thought John Fury would. Some people actually think John Fury is actually good at boxing, by the way. Go back and watch his fights. Fucking hell. Be sanctions an exhibition. Yeah, the weight just wouldn't happen. Carl Froch was literally a middleweight / super middleweight. John Fury is literally a fucking heavyweight. Carl Froch would have to put on loads of weight, and John Fury, yeah, come on, man. He's 60 years old. It ain't gonna happen. As an exhibition, yes. It's something I could see on Misfits boxing, on Misfits. However, if you got put on the Tyson Fury undercard, holy damn, I think it would be interesting, but I don't think it would happen. It would be sanctioned on the undercard. I just can't see it happen on the undercard. That Fury mouthing off Carway Froch stood doing telly. I know, man, and he literally looks up at him, acting like he can't see him. Look, listen, it's the fucking John Fury show, innit? I mean, I'm not really sure what people are expecting from John Fury. I mean, the guy is a literal idiot at times. Yeah, the guy is a prat, isn't he? He is a prat, that John Fury. But Liverpool hating people like to tune into him, don't they? So the most embarrassing one for me when he was screaming at KSI when KSI fought Tommy Fury. That for me was genuinely. You talk about weight footy though, like matters. Look at Eubank, Ben. The difference is right, and Conor Ben is in his prime. Him jumping up by £10 as opposed to Carl Froch who's walking around at probably 13 stone, maybe a little bit less. I don't know. And John Fury's walking around 18 plus stone. Like, Carl Froch was a middleweight, super middleweight. 45 years old, and you got a 60-year-old man. It would be impossible to have it as a professional sanctioned bout. Impossible. Even if the weights could be agreed. It'd have to be a fight that'd have to get done in, like, Florida or Miami or something. And obviously, they're not going to go to America when they're both British. Smash the likes. Yeah, man. Smash up the like button, man. Smash the like button up and subscribe. But yeah, that's they're the players I think we are going to sign. Sell, sorry. Now, I do want to speak about a player, that we are being linked with a little bit, which is Murillo at Nottingham Forest. A player that I like, who I think has been good for a couple of seasons now. At Nottingham Forest, and again, a player that I think would absolutely jump at the chance of coming to Liverpool. I do think there will be a transfer battle there, in my opinion. I do think there will be a transfer battle. I think Chelsea are interested, Manchester City, Real Madrid. There's loads of clubs that are interested in Murillo. And we've been watching him for a couple of years now. I think he's been at the Forest for about 2-3 years, I believe. I think he's fantastic. Again, how much is he going to cost you, Murillo at Forest? Again, Forest are going to be a big selling club. I think it very much depends on if they can win the Europa League. Potentially, I know they look like they're going to be going into the round of 16. So I think do they get relegated? I think Forest will stay up, but if they do get relegated, it will be an interesting one. But Murillo, man, I think he's absolutely quality. I think his passing range as a ball playing centre back, I think he's very good. I think he's very physical and very demanding and commanding for someone that is like 5'11". Dangerous at both ends of the pitch, and he's 23 years of age. I think Murillo has shown it in the Premier League that he is a quality centre back. He's a name that I would definitely take as a first choice player. If you said to me, you can sign Murillo for 70 million plus, you'll come in and be a first choice player for your club, I would take him. I think he's better than Schlotterbeck, in my opinion. I think I'd rather take him over Schlotterbeck. And if we're talking realistic names, forget your Bastonis for a minute, etc. If Murillo is one of the names on the shortlist, for me, he would probably be number one. Taken away the likes of thinking that we can get a Bastoni. Okay, so Murillo is definitely a player. The centre-back situation, look, it's interesting, isn't it? With Jeremy Jacket that we signed for 60 million. I do think we need centre backs, and again, we are going to speak about this is where we can kind of transition into Konate. Is he going to sign? Because if he does sign, that will be very interesting. Do we bring in a Murillo? Then, if Konate is going to potentially sign a respective contract, it looks like there has been a lot of positivity in recent weeks, and obviously, according to some of the rumors that Konate is back on the shortlist for Real Madrid. So again, that's it's going to be really interesting, isn't it? With Konate, it's looking like potentially there could be a breakthrough. I think we need a bit of clarity. It was about nearly this time last year we almost found out about Trent Alexander-Arnold going to Real Madrid. So, we're going to have to, wait and see, around that. And, yeah, look, I really hope Konate stays, man. I really, really do. And obviously, this is a tweet. It does indeed sound more promising than on Konate's contract situation. I would agree. I was in the room with Honest on Friday when he told us the club remained locked in talks over a new deal, and it sounded fairly encouraging. Obviously, that was a press conference that was held over the past week. I mean, look, I want Konate to stay at the club, and I've remained on this. I think if we actually say what you think about Konate, if you think he's been bad this season and whatnot, if we let Konate go, we've got a massive job on our hands because Van Dijk has got 1 year left. He's 30. He's coming up to 34. 35. What are you saying, bro, man? Big up to you, man. What's good, footy lad? Good to see you back. Keep your head held, bro. Hi, bro. Yeah, man, we've done a couple of streams in the past week, man, and well, I appreciate the kind words, QT Mods. I know you messaged me on Twitter, and yeah, man, I'm just putting life into a bit of perspective, do you know? 2026 has been very challenging physically and mentally as a whole, but I've used this week as an outliner in terms of how I'm going to move forward. What do I want to achieve? What have I lost that I want to have back in my life, etc. Things like that. Life is very precious, man. So, you never know when I know this is going a bit deep, but obviously I just want to say it and then we'll get back to the Liverpool chat. Life is very precious, chat. You never know what's around the corner unless, like I said, you want something in life, somebody, I don't know, a job, promotion, uni, college, or something else, somebody. Go and achieve it, man, because you only get one shot. And, it's not like a video game where you can click for, oh, shit, I've died. Let me click the restart button. Do you know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, I'm dead now. Let's click restart and let's go again. Once you're dead, you're dead. Like, to put it as blunt as possible, once you're dead, you are literally dead. Now, unless you get brought back to life, which, some people have, once you're dead, you're dead. There's no going back. And, obviously what's happened to me, over the past, in 2026 has really made me think how precious life is. And you never know what can happen in it. So, I'm just going to achieve what I want, man. Get back what I've lost and set new goals, new targets, and I'm on the path to it now. So I appreciate the kind words, my friend. Appreciate it. I appreciate you messaging me on Twitter, obviously, at the time as well. Konate contract. will be slowly getting there. Relax, people. It's not a coincidence why Slot, Virgil, Lynch, and now Paul Goyce have spoken about impatience. Yeah, I remained consistent from last time. I think Konate will sign the contract. If I'm being honest with you, and I think we have to also pay respects to Konate as a player as well. The difficulties that he has been going through over the past month, obviously with his father passing away. So there's been no surprise, so far this year. We've not really had any news up until the recent days, considering what he has been going through. And it's about showing respect, and the club have shown that respect. So that's why probably now you're seeing a bit of contract talks, because the club have ultimately given him the time and space that he has well and truly, needed it and as well. So I think Konate will sign. I don't believe the rumours of Konate wanting 250, 300 grand a week. I think Konate will probably sign a contract of around 200 grand a week. Obviously, he's currently on what, 50, 75, 70 grand a week. And I think he will get what he wishes and deserves. So I'm not too concerned around Konate. And you think about it, if we do let Mo Salah leave, that's 400 grand left up. If the likes of Robertson go, that's 160. I mean, chat, for God's sakes, we're going to be letting go probably not far from £1 million a week worth in wages. So it's definitely going to be some needle room for that. Footy, did you see that Ben jumping in the ring with 3-weight world champions? No. Life is very important, Footy, and sometimes it is good to live day by day and enjoy every moment. Facts. I spoke to my granddad about 2 weeks ago, when I was very emotional and stuff about what happened. And what also happened last weekend, which I'm not going to go into too much detail as to what happened to me last weekend. My granddad told me something, man. He said, look, listen, you want something in life, you go and achieve it, no matter how hard it takes. A lot of people don't want to go through the pain to achieve what they want. They want the easy route. They don't want to put in the grind. They don't want to put in the fight. They don't want to put in the hard work to change as a person, to get ultimately whatever that is they want in their life. And he said to me, you're a hardworking kid, lad, and obviously he knows what I've been through in my life, and you've got the mentality, you just need to use it. And that's what I've been doing this week. Outlining plans and how am I going to go about these situations, etc. So I'm full focused on what I want. I made a list in 2026, things I want in my life, things I've lost, things I want to achieve, and I've made a list, and I very much intend to end 2026 with what I want. And yeah, man, bless up. And yeah, live day by day, man. It's the best way to go about things. Genuinely, live day. Obviously, plan things for the future, for God's sake. I'm not saying, oh my God, don't go and book a holiday because you don't know what's going to happen in 2 days. But in hindsight, live day by day, because you genuinely don't know what can happen. Genuinely, you don't know what can happen. Life moves very quick, unfortunately, and time waits for nobody. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, bless up to Konate, man. I was 100% sure about Konate leaving until the other day when I got told something new. I'm 60% sure he stays. I think he will stay, and I can't wait. But no, look, Konate staying, chat, is absolutely massive if we can only agree a contract. Because like I said, we're potentially going into the summer with Joe Gomez probably going to be leaving, Konate leaving, and only having nearly a 35-year-old Van Dijk, who needs to be rested as well. Leone and Jeremy Jacquet. Like, if that doesn't concern you, I don't know what really will. But look, if Konate stays, I'm intrigued to see what the club do about the centre-back situation, because I do think we need to still bring in somebody. Whether that is a Schlotterbeck, again, a Murillo, I do think we need to be bringing in somebody. And I do think we need to be bringing in a centre-back that is going to be the potential successor to Van Dijk in the next couple of years. Whether, obviously, Konate's here for the here and now. Whether Jeremy Jacquet is going to be that, I don't know. I've not done enough on him or watched him. I'm going to try and catch some games of him before the end of the season. If very much possible. But no, look, I would take Konate, staying at the club. Let me have a look. Check if there's any more news to go over. Friday night, it's nearly 9 o'clock here in the UK. Apparently Liverpool are leading the race to sign Matheus Marley from Wolves. I think he's an alright talent. With Wolves getting relegated, I think you can pick him up for cheap. What's this? Oh, that's about Bernardo Silva. No one cares. What's this? Would you prefer a back three combinations or green? What's these team setups? Oh my god. Sorry, we need another centre back. What are we doing here? Okay, Frimpong just gets ditched. Frimpong there. Oh, yeah, we're clicking off this. What on earth? What's this? UEFA revealed the top 10 revenues for UEFA this season. PSG, Inter, Arsenal, Barca, Bayern, Dortmund, Real Madrid, Real Madrid, Liverpool. So wait, does that mean revenue that we've made through the stadium or we've earned through the league phase? Keprin Taram. Oh my god, we are not getting Keprin Taram. This is not 2022, 2023. I'll be very surprised if Liverpool get flipping Keprin Taram. What else we got? Oh, that's last year's news. 2022. Why is it fucking? Oh my god. Romeo Lavia. Shame on you, mate. Liverpool interested in signing Liverpool wonder kid, Carl. Man, I would take him in a heartbeat, but he's not leaving Bayern Munich. Don't worry, Ziyad Talks. I'm not that deluded. I saw this. Now, I don't really know what to make of this. Now, I believe it's just a youngster. Alan from Palamas. I mean, what position is he? He's a centre mid. Ugh. I swear. This guy is another gapper from South America. I can assure you that we are not. They are trying to drum up interest in him because he's not starting after joining. I did see something about Anthony Gordon, chat. I did see something about Anthony Gordon. Now, I can't remember where I saw it about Anthony Gordon. I cannot remember where I saw it, but I did see someone was linking us to Anthony Gordon. Now, I would take Anthony Gordon in an absolute heartbeat. Absolute heartbeat. People know on the channel I rate Gordon very, very, very highly. What's this about Fabrizio? Let's see if Liverpool are in the Champions League next season or not, and that is going to be one of the factors to decide on our slot. Told you, Champions League football is going to be very interesting, chat, in terms of how we're, going to go about things. I think it's very important that, we do get Champions League, because if we don't, there is going to be concerns, isn't there? There is going to be massive concerns if we don't get Champions League. Yeah, we massively need Champions League football, and let's hope we can get that. But yeah, chat, we are going to wrap things up. Here. Let me calculate. Yeah, where's 115? Oh, he's not going to fight Benavidez. I think he'll fight Ryan Garcia versus Barrios winner, which is this weekend. Chat, content for the weekend. We are going to be doing a boxing watch-along this weekend. So content you can expect. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the Forest game. We're going to talk about Isaac back in training as well. We're going to do the preview for the Forest game. I've scheduled it. I'm not sure still if I'm going to stick with it. But we are potentially going to be doing a hate watch for Chelsea. Obviously, the race for the Champions League. Aston Villa is also playing at 3 o'clock. So we're going to be hating on the teams that are in the race for the Champions League football this season. We're going to be doing the Lee Wood, Josh Warrington boxing watch along tomorrow night. And then we'll have the match reaction up tomorrow as well. So I appreciate everyone coming in, man. I appreciate everybody. It's been a good stream. We're slowly getting back into things, and I'll be there for the boxing watch along. Yeah, man. Bless up, QT. Gordon's on the radar, but I'm telling you about Cola. I'll be very surprised if we get Gordon, though, because obviously of the factors with Newcastle, I don't think they're going to particularly want to sell to us. But I will be surprised. But yeah, some content to stream this weekend, like I explained, chat. I just want to stream when I feel like it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to put that pressure on myself. Obviously, we're going to be doing match reactions for Liverpool games, where we'll go live after Liverpool games to talk about the game for an hour. But yeah, and obviously the vlogging channel, that's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to do that. I'll probably be doing like 1 or 2 videos a week, but the ideas for the videos are going to be worth it in terms of why I will only be doing 1 or 2 a week. I don't want to oversaturate it. Yeah, Cam Smith is fighting soon, so we are going to be doing a boxing watch along tomorrow. Lee Wood versus Josh Warrington. I don't know if I will be doing one for Marius Barrios versus Ryan Garcia, but I will watch it though. Big up Lewis, bro. Big up Reactor. We have a good rest of the night. Yeah, I'm gonna go and get some food, mate, because I am hungry. I can't lie. I'm gonna go and get some food. So yeah, smash up the like button, chat, on your way out. Appreciate every single one of you coming in here, chat. And I'm gonna give you a quote of the night. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a quote, and I want you to remember this. Okay, so make sure you're listening carefully. Last stream I climb every mountain and you swim every ocean. The new quote tonight is, no matter what, the better days are coming. There you go. Bless up to everybody. Appreciate every single one of you, man. And yeah, we'll be back live tomorrow at 1 o'clock talking about the Liverpool game. Take care, chat. Appreciate every single one of you, man. Much love as always. Tell your family every time, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, whatever, your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, your uncle, your dad, your mum, your granddad, whoever. Tell them, man. Tell them you love them. And yeah, if you do love somebody and you do care about them, tell them, man. Because you never know what can happen in life. It can be gone like that. But yeah, chat. Appreciate every all. Take care and good night.